The network marketing industry has changed dramatically in the last decade. With the advent of social media, digital marketing, the rise of the influencer, and all the tech platforms that promise something extraordinary, how do you separate the helpful from the hype? Welcome to Beyond the Network Marketing Dream, where authenticity and relationships, simplicity and duplication are at the core of everything we focus on. The fundamentals of building still work. Join us as we go beyond the network marketing dream.
Welcome back to the podcast, and excited to be with Scott Aaron today. I know we're going to have a fascinating conversation. Scott, you are not only a lead generation strategist, you've been in the network marketing space. I think you learned a lot there, and it has spawned into several different businesses and revenue streams. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the average networker can really build a business of their dreams, but also protect themselves in the process. So excited to have you on, man.
Well, Patrick, honored and grateful to be here and looking forward to diving into anything and everything today.
No, that's great. So tell us a little bit about, just diving in, your entree into network marketing. How did you get started? Is a traditional kind of rags to riches story, or what was the motivation? And then your transition. Just give everybody a little bit of an idea who Scott Aaron is.
So I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I actually started in entrepreneurship when I was around 19. So about 24, almost 25 years ago. I started in the health and wellness industry. I was a brick and mortar gym owner, myself and my family. I was a personal trainer, sports nutritionist, but I kind of got thrown into it in a very unorthodox way. My father, also an entrepreneur still to this day, made some bad business decisions, and he ended up in federal prison for 2.5 years. And during that transition period of him getting sentenced and then away for 2.5 years.
How old were you at that time?
I was 18, almost 19 years old. So I was a sophomore in college.
That had to have quite an impact. Were you pretty close to your dad?
I mean, we're still best friends. We did, I had to go through a lot of healing, later on. There was a lot of stuffed feelings, but, he was, my baseball and basketball coach. He was, he still is my best friend. Like we just celebrated his 70th birthday. And, I said to him, the beautiful thing about our relationship is that it's evolved the way that a father and son relationship should, where you go from father and son to friends. And yes, he's my father, but I consider him a friend more than anything else, which I think is a really, really wonderful thing. But that was the most impactful thing for me because, I didn't really have a direction in my life. I was partying my way through college and, I was undeclared, undecided. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I didn't, I knew I wanted to be in business, but I didn't have an inspiration. I wasn't motivated by anything besides listening to Fish and, going on concert tours and hanging out with my friends. That was really it. So when this all kind of came to, my dad said, well, listen, you're going to have to take over the family business. So I left the University of Pittsburgh, spent a couple semesters in community college, and then transferred to Temple University in downtown Philadelphia, which was, down the street from my gym in downtown Philly. And that was my entryway into entrepreneurship. I didn't see it as a challenge. I saw it as, okay, this is the hand that you're dealt, go make it work.
Right.
And I did. I fell in love with, being a business owner. I fell in love with interacting with people and building communities and building relationships and growing and scaling. And that was in 1998 into 1999. So this is pre-social media. This is really pre-internet. If you had a website for your gym, you were ahead of the curve. So I learned a lot. And then obviously with personal training and sports nutrition, I learned about structure and routine and discipline and consistency. All four of those things are vital in growing any business. So fast forward to 2013, I had sold 2 of our health clubs for $1 million. And then we opened a third and final location in 2004, which I had to fully finance myself because with my father's incarceration years prior, my parents had no credit. They couldn't put their name to anything. They were liens from the government. So I had to sign off on a lot of things, which ended up amounting to about $1.5 million of liability debt about 6 years after we opened the gym. So now this is 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get really scrappy as far as finding ways to continue to earn money. So I would run boot camps. I would do grocery shopping with my clients and charge them for my time. You know, I was always thinking about other ways of making money. I was not a very, linear person. I was basically a bob and weaver.
Yeah.
Something would get thrown my way. I would duck and let's go do this now. And I always found a way. I always made something work. I never dwelled on things that didn't work. I always focused on, okay, what can I do better? So
but it sounds a little bit more like the hustle instead of the entrepreneur, a little bit of, pay this bill that's in front of me, figure out a way to make it happen.
And, again, I was making six figures as a personal trainer, which, was very high accomplishment, but that also meant I had no time to live because I would train people from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day. That was my life. And I became a dad in 2012. So things kind of really, shifted for me because it was a new priority in my life. It just wasn't me. I had my now 10-year-old to focus on, and I wanted to be available. So in 2013, an interesting question was asked to me, and it was by it was going to be by my enrolling sponsor, which I didn't know at the time. He said to me, if you got sick or injured where you couldn't train, you couldn't physically get to the gym, you couldn't physically trade time for dollars anymore, and something happened to the gym, how would you make money? And I said, I have no clue. And he said, well, you got to start thinking about that. And he didn't even say, well, you got to sign up with me. He said, I just want you to start thinking about that. And, we spent a couple of weeks together working out and catching up. We had known each other prior. And he said, listen, I think there's an opportunity that you would really, would benefit from being in the gym industry. Obviously it was health and wellness.
A traditional approach, you get started in the business and fast forward. So you're building in network marketing and how long were you in that space?
So I built from 2013 to 2017, earned close to $400,000 in that time period, grew a team of 5,000 people. And I did it leveraging LinkedIn. I started the traditional route of friends, family, social media, Facebook, Instagram, but it didn't feel right to me. I didn't want my family and my friends in my business. I wanted to continue to have the relationship of my family being that and my friends being that. I didn't want to cross-pollinate. I wanted to create new connections and new relationships. And I really saw LinkedIn as the best opportunity to do that because it's a social networking platform, not a social media platform. And I wanted to network. And that's how I grew a lot of my business. And when I started to grow and scale, and this was, I would say the end of 2013, 6 months after I started, my business really started to go through the roof. I hit 10,000 a month in network marketing in about 22 months, which, to some people may not seem fast, but under 2 years, that's pretty good. Now, going into that process around 2014, when I started to get real traction and growth, my business coach at the time invited me onto his podcast. And he said, can you share some strategies and some tips on LinkedIn about how someone in network marketing could leverage LinkedIn to build their business? And I said, absolutely. So I started just throwing out all these facts and all these things that I was doing. And when I got off of that call, I had 8 inboxes on Facebook of people wanting to hire me. They're like, can we pay you? Yeah. And I'm like, you're going to pay me to teach you how to use LinkedIn? And they're like, yeah. Like, what do you charge? And I didn't even know what I charged. I mean, I didn't have a website. Right. So a light bulb went off and I'm like, ooh, there's a gap here because there were two things that really.
Now, tell me this. So people have context. What kind of products and services were you marketing?
Health and wellness. So nutritional supplements.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, it was a perfect niche for me just because I had been in the industry for, 15 years at the time.
And probably decent for LinkedIn. Not necessarily perfect, but a lot of people interested in health, wellness.
Well, yeah, I realized very quickly that the best people that I should be networking with are people that are my mirror image, other trainers, other nutritionists, other gym owners, because I would have a very relatable conversation where I could use that same question on them. If you got sick or injured, how would you make money? So I did have a very strong influence in the health and wellness space because, I was doing it in a non-traditional way. I wasn't going after the product consumers. I was going after the business-minded people because I saw when I looked at the company that I partnered with, their compensation plan, it was leaning so heavily towards, the money being in building a team rather than building it just through consumers. I couldn't do the business by myself. I needed to build a sales team. I needed to build a distribution channel. Yeah. And that was the thing I saw. I'm like, I don't want to be a sales rep. I want to be a business owner. And the closest thing to being a business owner within network marketing is growing your own team and organization, because again, your influence, obviously, and your education could help those people. So I wanted a team that was built around other wellness entrepreneurs, other wellness business owners, people that understood what it takes to grow a business. Because what I learned, Patrick, was this: it was going to take me twice as long to build a business if I had to teach people that had never been in wellness, had never been in business for themselves, how to be an entrepreneur, and then how to do something like network marketing. I was able to trim the fat because I was able to connect and build a team and organization around other wellness entrepreneurs, other business entrepreneurs who understood what it took to grow a business.
They already had the mindset, in place.
So
and they probably already had the network and contacts themselves if they chose to go that route. Yeah.
So then, as things started to ramp up, I started doing some coaching and consulting. And then in 2016, the first hiccup, happened where, jealousy is obviously the biggest sign of flattery. So there were some people out there that were kind of jealous at the success I was having outside of network marketing. So they reported me to compliance with the company that I partnered with, and they froze my account. Then after investigation, didn't find anything wrong, released my account 30 days later, but 3 months later, someone else complained and they froze my account. This time it was for about 8 months. Now, this was my big, I would say, turn of the mirror moment for me. And as I mentioned in my story, I had never been employed, never worked for anyone, only for myself. That was my first moment that I felt like someone was controlling my livelihood. And that did not sit well with me. If you back me into a corner and you try to control how I'm going to live my life, it's game over. I'm going to bowl right through you and I'm going to find my own path. I'm going to hustle my way in a different direction. So I took that as not, I wasn't being supported, but I said, you know what? I'm going to meet this situation where it is, and I'm just going to shift my energy, and I'm going to start focusing on me and assets that I can create that can't be frozen. And that's when
And that's a message you're delivering to other networkers, much to the dismay, maybe, we've got CEOs or leaders, but it does remind me of, the fact is we are here to serve. So whether it's a leader of a company or it's a leader in an organization, we live in this social world. People can do other stuff. The days of being locked into one company, one single thing, it's got to be about creating value. And that's some of the messaging that you're delivering to leaders today. Is that right, Scott?
Absolutely. Network marketing changed everything for me. I mean, it helped me understand the skill set that I learned in being, a brick and mortar business owner, how to convert those skills into the online space. And I learned about marketing products. I learned about teaching and training others. I learned about duplication. I learned about social media strategy, but I was doing it for someone else, right? But it was a great learning experience. And I absolutely support network marketers because I know what it's like, but I do also know the struggle. I know how difficult it can be. And this is not a message of me saying, put in your 2 weeks notice and quit and go back to corporate America. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is always keep your options open. Always keep opportunity, that door of opportunity, always keep it open just a crack. Start to think about what are the skills and the things that I am really good at that I learned in network marketing, and how can I monetize that? Not so much from, an income standpoint, but, do I have a powerful message that I can share on a podcast that actually could help recruit people into my business? Could I write an ebook that I can give to people for free in exchange for their email, where I can now start building an email list? Can you create a course? Keely Martinez, I'm not sure if people are familiar with her, top leader in a essential oil network marketing company, has done probably one of the most immaculate jobs of building her personal brand outside of network marketing. So she obviously has a deep, deep love and passion for essential oils. And what she did was she built a personal website, KeelyMartinez.com. And whether people wanted to join her network marketing team or not, she had a way of monetizing that. She would run essential oil classes where people would pay, X amount of dollars to join a 60-minute essential oil class, learning all about essential oils, not privy to the company that she was partnered with, but just
Right.
essential oils as a whole, but the option was there if you wanted to join my team and become an essential oil educator. Go to my website. There's a link right there where you can sign up. So again, she was able to monetize her personal brand based off of a passion that she loves. So
you read that book, Play Bigger, by chance, Scott?
I've heard of it. I have not read it
Yeah,
yet.
it's a great, basically the concept is go be category king. So be the creator of the category or fulfill the needs of the category versus just the product or service. And it's such a bigger play, right? And it's essentially what you're describing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, I just want network marketers to realize they have more to give and they can be doing more. One of the most powerful things that I heard at an event that I attended was, no matter how little or how much money you're making in network marketing, that could be money coming in each week and each month that you can invest into starting something else. You can start your own business. You can create your own product. You can create your own coaching program or membership. I originally, when I first started, I stopped building in 2017. In 2018, I launched something called the Network Marketing Academy. It's been rebranded since, but it basically was a $19 a month membership where network marketers in any company could sign up for $19 a month and they would get a monthly masterclass from me teaching them about lead gen skills, mindset skills, things they could teach their teams that helped me and my team. So I wanted to give back in whatever way I could. I still support the profession. I support the people that are in it. I just want them to understand that my wife always loved saying this. You can't see the label from inside the jar.
Yeah.
So if you're building a business and you're spending too much time in the jar, you can't see what's going on outside of that. Yeah. Sometimes you got to take a couple steps back, look at the label, and see what else can be done. What new tactics can I use to grow and expand my network? Now, Patrick, the other thing that I want to really hone in on here really quickly, every network marketer, every online business owner, I don't care what you're doing, what you're selling, what you're pitching, what you have, social media is rented land. If you get kicked off of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, you lose every possibility of connecting with people. A big focus that is not taught in network marketing, and I feel it should be taught in any online business forum, is building your own personal email list. Because that email list, guess what? It's yours. It is your email list where you can connect with people, you can talk to them offline, and that's where the real value in owning a business is. You may not own that downline. You own that email list that people opted in for.
And what's extraordinary is that people don't realize, like YouTube, Facebook, all of them, not only is it rented land, but they're selling, they're generating the interest. You're generating the interest with the prospect in a specific product service, and then they're selling advertising to a competing product that might cost less, be inferior, whatever, but they know the needs of your clients sometimes better than you do because of the algorithm, and you handed them the lead.
It's a great point, because I feel that I don't want to say that the education that a lot of network marketers are getting is stunted, but what people need to understand, no matter what the company, network marketing or not, whether you're in corporate, the company is always going to have things in place, systems in place that ultimately benefit the company. Because if the associate of the company they partner with, if you're going to want to get paid, the company's got to be making money first and foremost before anything happens. So you have to understand, when you start looking at things as a business owner and not just a partner of that company, to your point, you start realizing, I got to start doing things a different way. So, Patrick, something that I always talk about whenever I'm giving speeches or I'm doing trainings is being a salmon in a world of fish. Meaning, a very unique characteristic of salmon is they swim upstream to spawn, right? Yeah. Instead of going in the same direction that all the other fish are going in, doing the same thing that everyone on your team and everyone in your company and everyone on social media is doing, what can you do differently to stand out in the crowd? What can you do to go against the grain, to go against the current, to really carve out your own space and start thinking outside the box? I feel like so many people that get into network marketing, they're so inspired, they're so motivated and driven in the very beginning because it's fresh, it's new, and then you kind of settle in, it gets kind of comfortable. If you're not having fun doing it, it's not that it's not working anymore. You've stunted your growth. You got to start challenging yourself in different ways. And again, I would say one of the greatest, and I would say most beneficial experiences of my life was the time that I spent in network marketing, because it primed me. It absolutely primed me for growing something outside of it, because all along I was building trust, I was building rapport, I was building relationships with people. And when I did decide to pivot, some people kind of like blew me off and they're like, well, screw him, Other people, a lot of people supported me because they loved me for me, because they knew no matter what I ended up creating or doing outside of network marketing, I would still support those individuals, but I would create something that would still support them and benefit them in the business that they had.
What's interesting is I can look back at my own 20 plus year career, earned a fortune, all that, but I did, it's addition and not subtraction. I can say this in hindsight. What you're suggesting is the truth is I could have stayed, built my network marketing business and still been more effective, because there were times I got bored. I lost the passion and the juice and enthusiasm because I was doing the same thing. And had I taken the blinders off, there was a little bit of like, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to execute on this thing. It's really addition. It doesn't mean they have to leave the business. It's just, and there is security in it. If something goes south, if something happens, they're protected.
Well, you have assets of your own. I'm just a big believer that if you really want to take any business seriously, why not start a podcast, right? Why not write a book? Why not have a free course or a monthly workshop where you teach people a certain aspect of something that you do, something different? And again, that's why I started using LinkedIn, because I'm like, I don't want to do this monotonous before and after postings on Facebook and Instagram. I don't want to piss people off. I don't want to annoy them. I want to build relationships. I don't want to have to pitch and sell people. I want to connect. I want to know that I'm here as a resource for whatever it is that I'm offering, whether it's a product through someone else's company or something that I've created myself. But just be different, think different, do something different. If the easiest way to say this is, if you want something to change, you have to change something that you're doing. If you change nothing, nothing will ever change. So if you're listening to this and you're not happy with where your business is, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. You're just not doing something different. We're in an age right now where there are so many resources out there for you to leverage and plug into. The other thing that people need to remember, Patrick, is that leadership is earned. It's not given. And there's a lot of people that are considered leaders in network marketing just because of the money they're making. And it doesn't mean they're great leaders. Some of the best leaders in any industry aren't making that much money. I considered myself, when I was building in network marketing, I was not tooting my own horn, but I was an amazing leader. I was an amazing trainer. I was an amazing speaker, but I was never invited up on the big stage because I wasn't making the money that a lot of the big people were making. Now, to that point, if you're listening to this, be your own leader. Sometimes you have to step to the side to really see what's going on and what you want to create. And the people that are leading you, you have to really sit back and say, am I building what I'm building in the way that I would want to build it? Or am I building it to appease this person? Do I not want to upset them or hurt their feelings because I want to go a different way? There is no one clear-cut way of how to build any business. For a leader to say, no, you have to do it this way or you're blackballed, which I have heard these stories time and time again, Patrick, I would just turn around and run. Sometimes going it alone is better than trying to blend in with a pack that you don't feel like running with. And I just want people to just open their eyes, open your hearts, open your minds to other ways, other methodologies, other systems that may be out there. And it may be a system that you can create yourself, but don't stop growing. Don't stop challenging yourselves, because when you really start pushing yourself to be in that aspect of having that growth mindset where you're willing to be uncomfortable, and this is the big thing, when being uncomfortable is comfortable, you're doing big things, because then you're not afraid of it anymore, because on the other side of fear is everything that we want. So complacency is one of the worst places that you can be, because that means you're running on the treadmill of life. And if you're running on a treadmill, guess what? You're not moving any further ahead. You're not moving any further behind. You're staying in the same exact place.
That's awesome. Scott, how do people reach out to you today? And who do you work with primarily today on the consulting and the coaching side?
People in online business, we do work in the capacity. Some network marketers do work with us that have their own personal brand, meaning they want to launch a podcast, they want to write a book, They want to create a course or a membership outside of what they're doing. But I also have general courses that could help any online business owner, including the category of network marketing. It's called LinkedIn Accelerator. It's about an hour and 45-minute course that teaches an online business owner exactly how to leverage LinkedIn to build your business without being spammy, without message blasting people, really building the personal branding side of what you do. People can go to scottaaron.net. You can find my podcast and my books there. My most recent book, the LinkedIn book for sales and marketing, will help anyone in sales or in marketing for that matter really leverage the platform the right way. And again, you can find me on all social, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can just search Scott Aaron. I'll pop up in some way.
All right. Awesome. Well, Scott, it's been great spending time with you. And I know that people find inspiration from those words. It is a really important message, though, that you got to pick your head up, see what's going on in the world. It'll only help you grow your business and offer a little bit of insurance as well. Right? That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, you have to do more, to be more, to become more. And again, opportunity is out there for all of us. You just got to go and grab it.
That's awesome. Great being with you, Scott. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you for listening to Beyond the Network Marketing Dream with Patrick Shaw. For more insights on building a solid networking business, visit our website at rapidfunnel.com/MLM. If you loved our content, please share, like, and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode.